A very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the fifth episode of JLU Knowledge Series, organized by Jagran Lake City University, co-organized by LinkedIn Local Bhopal, and powered by FICCI Young Leaders Forum, Madhya Pradesh. Today, we have the company of Mr. Indranil Roy, CEO Outlook Group, to speak to us about his personal and corporate experiences. The moderator and host for today's fireside chat would be Dr. Rachana Tiwari, Assistant Professor, Jagran Lake City Business School. I welcome Mr. Roy and Dr. Tiwari on the panel today. Dr. Tiwari, please take it forward.
Thank you so much, Radhika. A wonderful good afternoon to everyone. I, Dr. Archana Tiwari, welcome you all in Knowledge Series 1, Episode 5. The JLU Knowledge Series provides an excellent forum for global leaders from the various sectors to address pertinent leadership issues and share their insights with students, faculties, and working executives. Under this lecture series, we ask leaders to address the leadership experience, both positive and negative, deal-making skills, forecasting changes, and trend in rapidly changing environments and the market. As a part of our journey, I'm sure you will find today's session very much interesting and informative. Moving further, let me introduce our distinguished guest today, who believes in Swami Vivekananda's wonderful quote, "The road to good is the road to good is the roughest and steepest in the universe. It is a wonder that so many succeed, no wonder that so many fail. Character has to be established through 1,000 stumbles." He is CEO at Outlook Group, has a wonderful experience of 25 years with Outlook. He has grown the organization in the wake of stiff competition and ever-changing media landscape. He grew from assistant manager to a CEO in the short span of time. He has been crucial in executing complete business transformation under various roles as president, executive director, and now CEO. As a business leader, he has always pushed for building a great and enduring organization despite of all the risk and the challenges because of having 100% belief in himself and his team. His entire focus is to transform the organization from pure play magazine company to 360-degree media solution provider. He is personally involved with the social sector impact initiatives of Outlook Group, which include responsible tourism, nutrition, and environment. Please welcome Mr. Indranil Roy, CEO, Outlook Group. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you, Archana. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak to you and the rest of the faculty as well as the students of your university. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. It's our pleasure to host you today. So, sir, just to begin the conversation, I would like to start, we would like to know your journey. Like you started your journey as an assistant manager in 1995, and you became president in 2012, then executive director in 2015, and CEO in 2017. I mean, if you could take us through this wonderful journey of learning and the initial challenges or some dilemmas if you faced. Over
Sure.
to you, sir.
So I was born in Calcutta. I studied in Calcutta, and I sort of lived almost 30 years of my life in the city of Calcutta. And then when I got my first opportunity, I moved into Bombay, and from Bombay I'm in Delhi now. So this journey began for me post education. While I was completing my education, I was actually very keen to sort of look into the world and say that, okay, let's do something where I can earn some pocket money. That's how it all started. And I started taking up virtually a office to office job where I did not even complete my graduation then. And I was doing this job where I would go and start selling yellow pages. Now, when I started selling yellow pages, when I actually look back, it was one of my best training ground because I started meeting people who I had never met in my life. I would meet different kind of people, and there used to be different kinds of anecdotal remarks which used to get. It was great fun. End of the day, and every evening, I remember we friends used to just gather together and have a great meal because we have earned our incentives for the day. So that's how it all started. But what I really look back and see is that the brilliant opportunity that I got to meet so many different kind of people. I remember one very interesting experience that I want to share. It's as this starts crossing my mind right now, is that I went to one shop and said that, we are here from Yellow Pages and we want to talk to you about. The guy out there spoke out to the owner by saying that, "Oh, hafta lene aaye hain." So that was the kind of a beginning, and it was so different, and it was such a great experience. But it also gave me a lot of friends who are friends even today with me. And it also is an area where I started learning how to interact with people, how to understand what the person wants, what is that I'm offering, what is that the person expecting. So that was my small journey there. Then I moved into India today, because the training manager at the Yellow Pages liked me for some reason, and she told his friend that there's this boy, why don't you take him as a guy in India today. And I joined India today, and I joined them in the circulation department. And it was also a great experience, because at that point of time, India today was really, really a behemoth in terms of its magazine's power. And we had such tremendous power as a vehicle. And so therefore it was a different experience altogether. And then, in between, we also decided that we will launch music cassettes, and we will launch CDs, and we will launch diaries. So we kept on launching one after the other, and it was our job to sort of go and start marketing it, selling it. Knew nothing about how to sell a music cassette. Go to the music shop and say that "Aap le lijiye, bik jayega to paisa de dijiyega." That's how we started. So it was such a wonderful experience then. And then again, as I said, that you meet people, then you keep learning from them on a daily basis. So then it was time for me to move on, and then Outlook was launching, and a friend told me that this is a good risk that you might want to take. So I am emphasizing on the word good risk, because sometimes we do take good risk and bad risks. So this was a good risk that someone suggested to me, and said that, a friend of mine suggested and said, "Why don't you look into it?" And I sort of took it up, and I sort of got into it, and I started circulation in Calcutta. I was so dedicated, and I was so sincere in my effort. I remember that your Outlook has a brand color of red. And in Calcutta, there used to be this road called Park Street, which everybody knows. I mean, whoever knows Calcutta knows Park Street. I really painted Park Street red, with the kind of posters and POS and BTL activity that we did on that road. And in fact, I remember the government at that point in time was CPIM government, and they also used to have red banners. So they sort of complained with us, saying that why have they painted everything red in Park Street? So that was the kind of effort that we put in. And I just had a few peons and one or two helps around me who sort of worked together, and we put our posters outside. So everything that I did in the very beginning of my life, and even today also, I actually put my hands into it, and try to do it myself before I tell my team to do it. So that's something which is also very important for all of us to learn, that you have to do it yourself and show the way forward with your future. And that's how the future adapts to it. So this is my journey. This is where I started. Then I moved into Bombay, because I got a great opportunity to be the regional head of Bombay. Of course, and then from there, the vice president then moved on, and I became the regional head. I was a de facto regional head, then I became a regional head in Bombay, and then I took up my responsibility very seriously. And then I was shifting gradually, and I realized that point of time that circulation is not very, it's not a very glamorous job. So what is a very glamorous job is, then in those days used to be advertising. So therefore I moved into advertising. I got a lot of advertising. I started making friends in a city where I knew no one. So from the industry, I started making friends. I started meeting them. I started pitching business with them. Within a year's time, I was at play with them. So therefore, it took me almost a year. And this is another point that I want to make, that you don't go to a new city and you start knowing everybody overnight. You have to give yourself time. So it takes about 1 or 2 years to sort of settle down in any new city. And that's how it also took me about 2 odd years to sort of settle down. And then after that, it was a role for me. It was very easy for me thereafter, because I made friends with the agency guys, with the clients. So they started helping me. They started supporting me. They started trusting me. I think that's a very important word that I must say here, is that they started trusting. If Indranil is suggesting a way of advertising, then that means he's not cheating on us. I think that's a very important point to sort of, also keep it in mind that finally my colleagues, my friends, my industry leaders, etc., must trust me in what I'm saying. So this is how basically the evolution happened. Then, of course, I started launching a few publications. There were some international publications that we had in our group, and that's what we launched. It was a timing magazine called People, which is actually one of the world's largest magazines in those days. We launched that in India. So I was a part of the team. I was the one who basically drove that initiative, and it was fun to sort of get into that celebrity part of the launch, etc. So we learned all of that, and then I got a opportunity one fine morning saying that, do you want to go to Delhi? And I said yes, why not? So I came to Delhi because I knew this was my head office. I wanted to be here, so I came here. I settled down here, started working in the Delhi market. Then subsequently, things fell in place. I was offered the CEO's job, and I took it up. So this is the short journey that I have. I mean, I would say the long and the short journey that I have in the business. And so it's all fun, and it's still great fun because every day it's a learning curve. Every day you learn a new thing. Every day you try to do a new thing. So I think, Archana, it's a great journey so far in my life.
Yeah, it's a great. I mean, I can see the beautiful journey because you started from the scratch and you experienced everything. And
Yes.
the way you trust your people, you trust your team, that is commendable, sir. And even, you said that, kind of a dedication and a commitment is required.
Yes.
Without that, you cannot succeed in the life. So that is that is the kind of a mantra. So even I can remember that when you joined in the year of 2000, I mean, when you have taken the position of president in the company in 2012. So that time, in 2013, that time was not that good for the organization. But the confidence, you were having the confidence on you were having the confidence on the team. So you said, no, fine, we'll sail through. So that is a very good thing. So sir, moving further, I would like to know that during your journey, what was the most difficult decision you have ever made for the organization, and how I mean, did you come to that particular decision?
Okay, so it was 2013. This was the most difficult decision that we took as an organization. We were publishing quite a few international magazines. It was People. We were publishing a magazine called Marie Claire, which was a European fashion brand, and then we were also publishing a magazine called Geo, which was more to do with science and technology. So those were the three magazines that we were publishing. And one fine morning, the promoters of the magazine decided, saying that we should not be continuing with these publications because they were draining out too much of money under too much of revenue out of our system. So it was a loss-making proposition, and we did a what should I say, an analysis to understand that what would be our income over the next 10 years, and we realized that it was negative. And that was the time when we took a very hard call of saying that we are going to shut it down. So there were 113 people who were working in those magazines those days. So you had an editorial team, you had a sales team, you had a back-end team, etc. So we had to ask all of them to go in a window of exactly a day, because it was a decision that was so hard, it was so difficult, and you had to settle everything immediately, because otherwise, you take more time to decide on such and certain things, it has its own repercussion. And in those days, in 2012-13, media business was pretty good, and people were not in the there was no precedence, so to say. I would say there were no precedents to say that so many people have been asked to leave by one organization. So we became news, and that was really unfortunate. I really still believe that it was a really unfortunate call, but we had to take that hard call for the survival of the organization, and it was so bad as that. And that's the time when we decided, and I still remember 4 nights I did not sleep. On the one hand, they were my friends, they were my colleagues. I was taking a hardest call of saying that from tomorrow onwards, you're not going to have your job, and you will be, you know, out in the market and don't even have an income for yourself. And at the same time, it was such an important call that you had to take for your own organization. So going back to my learning, as one way which I learned someday, is that it is also very important for you to take these decisions, the hard decisions, when it is about saving the balance 250 people who are working with you. So you have an organization size of 100, 400 or 350, and you are asking 200, 100 people to go. So you're actually thinking about the rest of the 250. So that's the positive way of looking at things. That's the positive way of analyzing a situation and saying that it is important to survive for the survival of the organization. It's important for the balance 250 people who we are going to retain. So these are very hard calls. These are very difficult calls, but you have to go through the process. And I think that particular time, that particular moment made me a much tougher individual. And that learning I have till date, I have not forgotten. And I try to sort of analyze from there as to saying that, how can I improve on the way that I handle that situation at that point of time? So this was, to answer your question, was what was the most difficult thing that I've ever done in my life? I think that's one of the most difficult things that I've ever done in my life. Fortunately, by the grace of God, we sort of came out of it very well. We sort of managed it extremely well, and well, it's history now. But the point is that yes, it was one of the most difficult decisions taken.
Yeah, I can completely understand. I mean, giving pink slips to your employees is, toughest task. I can completely understand that. So moving further, sir, what is the motivation behind 25 years with the same organization?
See, there are various ways of looking at it. One of the ways that I look at it is that I have grown with the organization. Okay, so first when I initially was at Calcutta, then the next stage in Bombay, then the stage in Delhi. So for me, 25 years, 30 years really does not matter. What matters to me is honestly that am I growing within the organization? Am I being heard? Do I have the freedom to work what I want to work at? Do I have challenges in front of me? Do I have a commitment with my employees? Do I have a commitment with my organization? And those are the most important decisions that always drives me to take up my next assignment or to think about my next assignment. So I have not, in fact, there have been very, very difficult times, Archana. There have been really, really so many difficult situations, when I did not know what should I do. Should I just quit and go? But at the same time, I looked back and said that, no, why should I quit? I don't want to quit. I want to fight this situation. Let me see how much I can fight it. Let me work around it. In fact, this COVID year, such a difficult year. I mean, we all know that it is such a difficult year, and what we have gone through, and God only knows what we are going to go through. Now, it is very easy to go back to my board or my promoters and say that, listen, this is a very bad year. What can I do about it? I mean, you have to absorb all the losses. You have to do whatever you want to do. But it is your company. But I did not look at it like that. I said, no, I will find solutions to what I can do. Touch wood, we have done exceedingly well in the last 1 year during the COVID. Just after the lockdown, when we started operations, from then to now, we have done touch wood. We have really done well, and we have really sort of innovated ourselves. And today, my clients actually look up and say that, yes, you guys have really done very well in terms of your innovation, your ideas, your way of approaching us. So everything. And I mean, I do not want to say that it's me and but the point is that I took the first step of saying that, okay, let me handle 50% of the pressure myself. That's the kind of a thing that I took in on my head and said that let me look into the minutest of detailing. Let me try to reach out to all the clients that I am friendly with. Let me try and give them ideas. Let me try and close few of the deals myself. Now, otherwise, I could have just sat back and said that, look, let my team do it. Or I could always be sort of pushing my team and through like that. But I did not want to do that. So I took the other way of saying that let me do it myself so that I can give that comfort to the team. And that's exactly what we did. And touch wood, by the grace of God, we have done that well. In fact, we have been able to sort of, stabilize there. And that I think are important. What should I say? Sequences or decisions that one needs to take as a leader, and that is how life is. So therefore, when I'm talking about 25 years in outlook, no, it's not 25 years. I look at it in parts and bits and pieces of what I have done, and how have I moved on. And also, there's another important thing, which is obviously I'm talking to students here as well. So I'm talking about it, saying that what are you contributing? What are you contributing? Are you contributing? Are you learning? Are you being accepted? I think these are very important questions to ask yourself before you take the next leap of saying that, oh no, I'm done with this company for 2 years, 3 years, now I must move on. It's important to ask yourself that what have you contributed in the last 3 years? I think that's a very important way to sort of analyze yourself, analyze oneself. And I think I analyze it like that. And I never feel that I'm 25 years here. I also sometimes, when people and friends tell me that, oh, you're such a long time you're in the same place, I joke with them and say, yeah, I'm the oldest furniture in the office. But at the same time, I know very well that What's very important for me is, suppose it is my business, will I give it up and go away? So that's a question that I often ask myself, and that's what motivates me. That's what keeps me committed to what I am doing.
Yeah, I can completely, relate to your thing or the experience you're sharing because, we say that it's a, workplace is our second home, right? So you are actually complementing that statement that
That's
it's
right.
my second home. Whatever challenges will come at my, way, I am ready to face all these things. That's great. So moving further, I would like to ask that what kind of challenges is present in the media industry? And how the organization needs to push them to remain competitive in the market because a lot of up and downs are happening, a lot of
Sorry.
things are coming and going. Yeah.
Sorry. So there are multiple challenges, Achana. There are editorial challenges, and then there are business challenges. Now, if I try to address editorial challenges, I think we are no more the fourth estate. When we really say that the media is the fourth estate, I don't think media is anymore the fourth estate, because end of the day, media is today being challenged by different institutions. We are not as sacrosanct as what we were years back. I mean, we had the power. Media really had the power to move things. But honestly, I think that position, particularly in India, has diluted. So that's one area where I'm not very happy about, and I think that yes, we have our own challenges, our own what should I say? We have our own limitations. So everybody is there. There is a tremendous fragmentation of business, which has also sort of pushed us as, and I'm talking about media overall, is pushed us to take a line or take an editorial, what should I say, an editorial path, which is not always correct. So I'm not getting into the details of it, but yes, there are editorial challenges there. The other challenges about the business challenges, of course, is that you are hit by the digital movement. You're hit by the Googles and the Facebooks and the Amazons of the world. You have advertising which is going out of your kitty and going into the digital platform. You have distribution, which is now a big challenge, because today the physical product, whether it's a newspaper or a magazine, the physical product has reduced its limit, or rather its requirement has reduced, or its purpose has reduced because of digital distribution. So therefore, digital has impacted us tremendously, and it is going to continue to impact us now from here on. So therefore, my belief is that we are under tremendous stress, particularly the print organization. Even television organizations in the next 4 to 5 years will be under tremendous pressure from the digital sectors, from the digital sector segment. But we have to live with it. We cannot sort of say that we cannot say that, okay, now what to do. So therefore we have to reinvent. We are reinventing. All media companies are today not only a newspaper organization, or not only a magazine organization, or just not a television organization. They're all doing events. They're all doing 360-degree solution providing to their country. So they are also reinventing. So everybody reinvents in the wheel, right? So therefore everybody is reinventing. Some will survive, some will not survive. So that's how it will all fall in place over the period of time. But yes, the model that according to me will work is finally the content. How credible is the content, number one. Number two is who pays for that content. I think these are two important aspects that one has to sort of look at. I think subsequently the consumer has to pay for content, and if the consumer pays for content, then the quality of media will improve. So therefore, or quality of journalism will improve. So therefore, I think the challenges are many. Opportunities also comes along with challenges. We all know that. So and we have to keep it reinventing ourselves. So I think it's a very tough journey ahead.
Yeah, I mean, uh, yeah, even I would say that, because of the digital platforms which we are having here, or we can talk about the social media, because of those platforms, the reading habits are dying, especially among the youth. So people, I mean, the students are not reading the book. I mean, research also says that they are not reading they are not taking the physical copies, they are not reading, right?
Right.
And moreover, the focus is changing. Sometimes you waste your time with, useful content, or you waste your time on unuseful content. So that is the problem. So what would be your suggestion towards that?
See, not reading is not an option. Okay, read in any platform you wish to, whether you want to read it on a mobile or whether you want to read it on a laptop or you want to read it in a print version. Whatever you want to read, you have to read, because not reading is not an option. It's a very stupid, sort of, should I say, a suggestion saying, or a point to say that, oh, I am not reading, I don't have time to read. In fact, it should be taken as a negative. It should be meant to be said in a negative connotation. Reading is no, and honestly, I'm of the opinion that today we are reading more, but it all depends upon where are we reading, what are we reading. So I think interests are changing. The way of presentation has to also change. Today, the way of presentation is also changing. Like today, if I watch a nice video, if I want to watch a good video, informative video rather, I would be happy to sort of watch it and learn from it. So the pattern of communication. So I may not be reading, but I may be watching and absorbing. So that's also is a form of accepting knowledge, right? So knowledge is important platform, and knowledge is sacrosanct. There's no compromise on the knowledge. So therefore, how we are consuming that knowledge is absolutely important. And I think we are already doing that, and we will be doing more and more. Our next generation is much far smarter than we are. So they are also consuming much more than we are consuming actually. What they're consuming and how we are providing that, or how are we distributing that content, is an important point for us to understand, for the publishers to understand. So whoever is a publisher, whether you as an individual is a publisher or I as an organization is a publisher, whoever is publishing must know that how it is going to be consumed, and how smart or intelligent or creative can I be to make it consumed.
Yeah, authentic and interesting content is required. Yeah, that's true. So what do you think that what is the future of print media?
Well, it's a question that I don't think anybody has an answer yet, but we all hope that we hope that someday each one will find its own place, and I personally believe that there will be a generation of people, or there will be some amount of number of people who will want to read print, and they will be happy to read print. So therefore, there will be segmentation, and the earlier the segmentation happens, the better it is. It is, but the future of print media is not really too bright, to be very honest. And but the point is, the future of content is bright. So we are content providers, right? Whether I'm in print
Right.
business or I'm in any other form of content manufacturing or content creation, right? I'm in the business of content creation. So if I'm in the business of content creation, then according to me, I am creating that content. How it is distributed is not is something which I have to innovate.
Yeah, that is a profound thought. Yeah. So moving further, sir, I mean, in Outlook, you have taken so many initiatives. Even under your guidance, you have taken various social impact initiatives, like responsible tourism, nutrition, and about the environment. So, what kind of a continuous efforts are required here?
Oh, tremendous, tremendous. See, social impact platforms. I identified that, or we and our team identified that about a few years back, about 5-6 years back, and we started promoting the concept of responsible tourism. Then later we sort of introduced the concept of portion, which is nutrition, and now, of course, we are now sort of launched the Planet platform, which is called Outlook Planet, which is the environment platform. Now, the two reasons that we wanted to sort of, really sort of wanted to get into it. One is the consumer awareness, saying that the consumer is not aware of what is responsible tourism. Every tourism that happens in our country should be responsible. It's an obvious. But are we responsible when we travel? No, we are not. We do not care about where are we throwing the plastic bottle. We do not care about where are we eating and leaving our waste behind. So we don't do it. But somebody needs to talk about it. Somebody needs to be taught. So therefore, the media has a very important responsibility of teaching the consumer about saying that how do you behave responsibly when you're traveling. Are you buying the local artisans? Are you spending time to understand the local culture? You're not doing that. I mean, most of the travelers are not doing that. But over a period of time, the sustainable travel that we sort of started promoting about 5-6 years back, people have now started understanding the meaning of sustainable travel. People have now started becoming much more conscious. So there's a small percentage of people, but they have started becoming conscious about what they are, how are they behaving in a tourism destination. So that's where it took us the initiative. And today, honestly, it's one of the biggest play that we have in our company, where we are going and conducting these workshops in multiple states. I mean, last week we did something in Arunachal Pradesh, where we actually went to a place where we sort of spoke to the local homestay owners, local business leaders, local community, where as to how to attract tourism and how to ensure that at the same time you develop your tourism destination as well as you also protect your destination. So we spoke to them. We sort of tried to give them different kind of examples, shared case studies with them. Again, I'm going to Orissa next week, where we are again going and doing the same thing with the state tourism boards and with the other stakeholders. So this is an ongoing process. There's a lot that we can do in particularly in the social impact space. In Poshan, specifically, particularly talking about Poshan, and these are the only two examples that I shared in this conversation. In Poshan, who knows about malnutrition? How many do we really know that 49 million children in India are malnourished? We don't know that. We don't know that. And media has to come out and talk. Media has to engage with the government. Media has to sort of come and talk about these things, that saying that people are dying hungry. So if unless and until we do not come forward, we do not even talk about anemia and obesity for that matter. These are some of the biggest culprits of child death. We talk about we are not talking about these things. We are not even talking. I mean, I can give you hundreds of case studies and hundreds of stories to tell you that how adolescent children get married, then they get pregnant within the first year of the marriage, and then they deliver 5 children in the next 5 years. But who is taking care of this mother? Who is taking care of this child? So there are so many things. There are so many rituals. There are so many religious challenges. So media has to come forward. I'm very, very passionate about these things. I'm basically, I'm saying that media has a huge role to play. I'm personally committed, and that's the reason why we have moved Outlook into these kind of sectors. And we say that we want to talk to consumer, we want to talk to the government, we want to help the government as well to come forward and sort of further spread the news and the voice about how we should all be aware of how we should pledge, how we should come forward and sort of help the society. So this is by and large why we have got into the social media impact initiatives that we are doing. I hope that someday bigger media companies also come forward and start promoting responsible tourism. I hope bigger media companies also start come forward and start talking about nutrition and so on and so forth. So I think there's a tremendous opportunity, and I think there is a tremendous amount of interest, and we must work towards it. It's our responsibility in a sense.
I must say that these are the wonderful initiatives, and these are the sign of responsible organization also. And I mean, it comes from the leaders, right? So it is a top-down approach. So how you want to set up your image in the world. So that's great. So Indranil sir, what are the characteristics that you believe that every leader should possess, and what advice would you give to someone who is taking a leadership position for the first time? I mean, if you can talk about do and don'ts of the leadership.
See, I don't know. I mean, there could be hundreds of such sort of suggestions, but I'm not getting into too many. But one of you that I thought and I think that is important. One, of course, is that be humble. So you could be a CEO today of an organization. You are just an ordinary man. So you're nobody. You're there because your organization is there. So that's something which is an individual trait, that you have to be humble. You have to be approachable. You should be open to your team. You should be open to your external people. They should be able to approach you. You should be able to communicate with them. I think these are very small and basic requirement of a good CEO. And the other thing that I personally believe is very, very is perseverance. It's tremendous amount of persistence and perseverance will make you where you grow. Because I'm talking to, I think I'm talking, I mean, I know that I'm talking to students. So therefore, what's important for is that how you could be a very intelligent student, you could be the brightest student around, but you are not perseverant, you are not persistent. It's not going to work. So persistence and perseverance are two of the most important elements of an individual, and I think you just cannot compromise on that. And I think the other point is about learning. Every day is a new learning. Every day, what have I learned? Have I really sat back and sort of analyzed it? That what have I learned today, and then take it to the next level. And of course, the other elements that's very important is that are you networking enough? See, today you have to network a lot, and somebody is an extrovert, somebody is an introvert. An introvert then generally feels that I want to stay within my own cocoon. But I think networking is very important, because that's really sort of helps you to sort of market yourself, because finally end of the day whatever we are doing, we are always marketing ourselves, number one. And number two is also it's a learning platform. You learn from others. So that's why I think that networking is also a very important element. So I think by and large I've touched upon what all are important elements, but as I said, there are hundreds of other attributes that you must have to be a leader. But I think every situation is different, and everybody has to adapt to that situation.
Yeah, that's perfect. So, one thing which is coming in my mind, that one of the crucial tasks of a leader is to motivate your team, despite of all the odds or whatever condition or whatever situation you are facing. So, how do you keep your team motivated?
Do it yourself. So I think that is one of the best ways to sort of motivate everyone, because if you are not doing it, and if you're continuously just sitting down and giving them what do you call it within students as gyan, it's not going to work. So you hold their hand and work with them. They get motivated. If you're a leader and somebody is a very junior person in the organization, he wants to show to you that he's done it, and we must appreciate that he's done it. We must reach out to him and say that even you could be the junior most person in an organization, but since you have done it, I've come to you as a leader and appreciate what you are doing. I think appreciation is much bigger a motivator than money. And I personally believe that. And I have never chased money. Money is something which I've never chased in my life. So I mean, my friends even tell me that, what the hell are you not doing? I said, no, it's okay. It will come on its own. So that's how you cannot be chasing money, because money does not come first. First, the work comes, the purpose comes, the respect comes, and then after all that, the power comes, and then after all that, the money comes. So I think we need to work what we are passionate about.
Great thought. Great thought. I must say that great thought. Wonderful, lessons from your life. So, I'm getting one question from the student. Like, what impressed you the most when you are considering, hiring someone?
Okay, so there's not one thing that you look at a person, right, when you're actually interviewing a person. So of course, to me, I try to look at the person in terms of communication skill. I definitely, because that's an important aspect of my job. So communication skill is an important aspect. The second aspect, which is very important, is that um, how honest is the approach. Okay. uh, Communication, honesty, the sincerity of the approach, these are very important elements of while you are interviewing someone. By in so many years you actually can make out who's coming out clean, who's coming out honest, and who's trying to hide. If you're trying to hide, of course it's something which automatically comes out while you're interviewing someone. So my one piece advice is that be very honest when you're going in for an interview. Don't try to overplay, because it's not going to help you. Because finally you might still get the job, but within a month or two, your boss will understand that what you have done is, or how competent you are. So competency will be tested later. So but your first appearance of your communication, your skill, your appearance, your way of your confidence, all of that will make the person sort of like you at the first instance. So first instance liking is different, and then once you are within the organization, once you start working, once you start producing, that impression is completely different.
That's great. So, what is the one piece of advice would you give to someone who is just starting the career, especially in the field of management, or if they are the budding managers? So, what would be the one piece of advice or the success mantra you would like to share?
See, till date, what you've learned is theoretical. So the practical world is completely different from the theoretical world. So be humble, start learning from where you start. And every day we keep learning. We must keep our eyes and ears open and say that we are learning. And I would suggest is for anybody who is very young, go back and reconcile what you have learned today and try and rub to that. So that's how I would really suggest today's future to sort of say that this is how I begin.
Yeah. I mean, today we talked about so many, I mean, we touched so many aspects. Like we talked about the discipline, the commitment which is required right from the beginning. So it's wonderful. The last question which is coming in my mind is, according to you, what is the most satisfying thing about the job?
Achievement. What have you
Okay.
achieved? What is your objective? What is the board's expectation? What is the objective? And what have you delivered? So everybody in the organization, right from the CEO to the lowest denominator in the organization, has an objective, has a purpose, has a responsibility. Now, whether I'm working as per the objective, am I delivering as per the objective? And whether my boss is accepting that, and I'm delivering as per what is expected out of me. I think that is the biggest satisfaction that brings to me, that whether what I am doing is getting appreciated. And I think getting appreciation is a very important aspect. So therefore, when a young boy is working and is working in a new organization, I think the first step is to appreciate what he's doing. He will be doing many things wrong. We all do multiple things wrong, right? Every day we make one mistake or we make multiple mistakes. But correcting is also my responsibility. Appreciating is also my responsibility. I think that's how we basically have to build in with the future.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, if you feel that yes, someone has, believe or faith on you, that obviously motivates you. And even if you get the appreciation, yes, I mean, obviously you will put the efforts next time also, or you will keep, continuing your practices. So wonderful, wonderful conversation with you, sir. I would say that I personally have benefited from the conversation, and I'm sure everyone who are on the call experience the same. You
Thank you.
are I would say that you are connected with your roots. So much to learn from you. So
Thank you.
indeed, it was wonderful conversation with you. A lot of takeaways. Thank you for igniting the young minds. I really look forward to host you again on the campus. We have very lush green, beautiful campus in Bhopal. So
Surely.
at the end, um, I would like to say that yes, I mean it was a wonderful, wonderful conversation with you.
Thank you, Archana. Thanks for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So at the end, I would like to conclude the session by one quote given by Mahatma Gandhi. The future depends on what you do today. So with this thought, we are signing off for the day. Thank you once again, everyone, for sparing your precious time with us. Thank you. Thank you so much, Indranil, sir.
Have a
Thanks
mighty
again.